In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel takes us on an insightful journey through the intricacies of wealth, personal finance, and the emotions that drive financial behavior. The book is based on the premise that making smart financial decisions is not just about understanding markets, interest rates, or complex economic models. Instead, it's about understanding human psychology, how we think, feel, and react to money. Housel uses simple, relatable stories to highlight how irrational behavior, deeply rooted in human emotions like fear, greed, and envy, often shapes our financial lives more than logic or rational planning. This isn't a book about financial strategies or investment tips, but rather about the mindset and behaviors that lead to financial success. By understanding these psychological principles, we can better manage our relationship with money and, ultimately, our lives. Chapter 1. Wealth isn't what you see. One of the book's foundational insights is that true wealth is invisible. We often associate wealth with visible displays of success: expensive homes, flashy cars, designer clothes, or luxury vacations. However, Housel explains that these outward symbols of wealth can be misleading. In many cases, they represent spending, not actual wealth. True wealth, he argues, is what you don't see: the money in your bank account, your investments, the assets you've accumulated, and the security they provide. Being rich is different from being wealthy. Richness can be fleeting. Someone may have a high income and spend lavishly, but that doesn't mean they are financially secure. Wealth, on the other hand, is about what you save and invest over time. It's about having the freedom to make choices without being constrained by financial pressures. For example, Housel highlights how many people who appear rich on the outside might actually be drowning in debt or living paycheck to paycheck, while someone with far fewer visible luxuries may be wealthy in terms of savings and financial freedom. Chapter 2. Behavior over knowledge. Housel stresses that financial success is less about what you know and more about how you behave. Knowledge is important, but it's not enough. A person could have all the financial knowledge in the world, yet still make poor decisions if they can't manage their emotions and behavior around money. He gives the example of Ronald Read, a janitor who amassed an $8 million fortune through frugality, patience, and consistent investing. Read wasn't a financial expert. He simply lived below his means and allowed his investments to compound over decades. Contrast this with the story of Richard Fuscone, a wealthy executive who lost his entire fortune by over-leveraging himself during the financial crisis. Despite Fuscone's deep financial knowledge and connections, it was his behavior, greed, overconfidence, and a desire for more that led to his downfall. This comparison illustrates one of Housel's key points. Managing money is more about mastering your emotions than understanding financial jargon. People often make decisions based on fear, greed, or social pressure, rather than carefully considered plans. Overcoming these impulses requires discipline, self-awareness, and the ability to think long-term. Chapter 3. The Magic of Compounding. A major theme in The Psychology of Money is the concept of compounding, how small, consistent actions over time can lead to exponential growth. Housel uses Warren Buffett as a prime example of the power of compounding. Buffett, one of the world's richest individuals, didn't amass his fortune overnight. His wealth is a result of investing consistently for over 70 years, allowing his money to grow and multiply over time. Compounding works not just with money, but with many areas of life. Small, positive habits, when repeated consistently, can lead to significant outcomes over the long term. But the key to compounding is time. Housel emphasizes that it's not enough to make a few good investments or decisions. You have to let them grow over decades. Many people make the mistake of getting impatient, pulling out of the market too soon, or chasing quick returns, and in doing so, they lose out on the full potential of compounding. Compounding also highlights the importance of avoiding mistakes. Small losses, like bad investments or unnecessary spending, can have a significant negative impact when compounded over time. This is why it's essential to minimize risks and focus on long-term consistency rather than short-term gains. Chapter 4. The Dangers of Greed. Greed is one of the most common emotions that can derail even the best financial plans. Housel explains that many people's financial downfalls can be traced back to greed, the constant desire for more. The problem with greed is that it clouds judgment, pushing people to take unnecessary risks or make impulsive decisions in the pursuit of ever-increasing wealth. He shares the story of the financial crash of 2008 as an example of how greed led many people to make reckless choices. Banks, investors, and everyday individuals were all caught up in the housing bubble, believing that the market would continue to rise indefinitely. But when the bubble burst, it left a trail of financial devastation in its wake. To counteract greed, Housel advises cultivating contentment, understanding when enough is enough. Many people chase ever higher salaries or bigger investments, only to find that the stress and risk involved are not worth the payoff. True financial freedom comes from having enough and being satisfied with what you have, rather than constantly striving for more. Chapter 5. The Role of Luck and Risk. In personal finance, as in life, luck and risk play significant roles. Housel explains that while hard work and smart decisions are important, they aren't the only factors that determine financial success. Luck can elevate someone's fortunes unexpectedly, while risk can bring unforeseen challenges that wipe out even the best-laid plans. One of the most striking examples Housel uses is Bill Gates. While Gates is undeniably brilliant and hardworking, part of his success was due to luck. He happened to be in the right place at the right time, with access to a computer during his high school years, a rare opportunity in the 1970s. Without this stroke of luck, Gates's career might have taken a very different path. On the flip side, Housel points out that bad luck can strike anyone at any time, no matter how careful they've been. For example, someone might lose their job due to an economic downturn or face unexpected medical expenses that derail their financial plans. The point is that we can't control everything, and luck and risk are always factors in our financial lives. This is why Housel emphasizes humility in financial decision-making. It's important to recognize the role that luck plays in our successes and to be prepared for the risks that can come our way. We should avoid overconfidence and always maintain a margin of safety, an extra financial cushion that can protect us from unforeseen events. Chapter 6. Freedom, the ultimate goal of wealth. For many people, the ultimate goal of wealth isn't more money, it's freedom. Housel explains that money, when managed well, gives you the ability to make choices that align with your values and desires. It allows you to control your time, pursue your passions, and live life on your terms. True financial freedom isn't about luxury or status. It's about having the flexibility to live without the constant pressure of financial insecurity. It means being able to take a vacation when you want, switch careers if you feel unfulfilled, or spend time with loved ones without worrying about your next paycheck. This kind of freedom, Housel argues, is the real measure of financial success. He contrasts this with the keeping up with the Joneses mentality, where people feel pressured to match the spending habits of their peers, even if it means going into debt. This mindset leads to financial stress and insecurity, as people chase after material symbols of success, rather than focusing on their own financial well-being. True wealth, Housel suggests, comes from living below your means and having the freedom to make choices that bring you happiness, not just status. Chapter 7. The Importance of a Margin of Safety. Throughout the book, Housel emphasizes the importance of having a margin of safety, a financial buffer that protects you from unexpected setbacks. A margin of safety means having extra savings, living below your means, and avoiding excessive debt. It's the cushion that allows you to take risks without putting your entire financial future at risk. Housel points out that no one can predict the future with certainty. Markets fluctuate, jobs can be lost, and unexpected expenses can arise at any time. Having a margin of safety ensures that you can weather these storms without having to make drastic sacrifices or panic decisions. It gives you the flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances and stay on course toward your financial goals. Chapter 8. The Extremes that Shape Our Financial Lives. Housel introduces the concept of tail events, rare, extreme events that have an outsized impact on our financial lives. In investing, these tail events might be market crashes, booms, or other unexpected events that drastically change financial outcomes. But tail events aren't limited to finance. They can also be personal events like health crises, divorces, or job losses that dramatically affect our financial situations. The challenge with tail events is that they're unpredictable and often beyond our control. However, by recognizing that these extremes can happen, we can take steps to protect ourselves. This might mean diversifying our investments, having an emergency fund, or simply being flexible in our financial plans. Housel encourages readers to build resilience into their financial lives so they can better handle these unpredictable extremes when they occur. A key takeaway from this concept is that while most of life may proceed as expected, it's the rare and unexpected moments, the tail events, that will have the most significant impact on your financial journey. For instance, a single market crash could wipe out years of gains for those who haven't diversified or maintained a margin of safety. On the other hand, a well-timed investment or a career breakthrough might catapult someone's financial trajectory to new heights. Housel's advice is to expect and prepare for these extremes, even though they are hard to predict. This means maintaining flexibility in your financial plans, avoiding overconfidence, and always having a backup plan for when things don't go as expected. Chapter 9. Patience and Long-Term Thinking. In an age of instant gratification, where success stories of young billionaires and quick riches flood our social media feeds, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting fast results. However, Housel argues that patience is one of the most underrated traits when it comes to building and managing wealth. The people who succeed in the long term are those who understand that wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. He uses the example of the stock market, where long-term investors often outperform those who try to time the market with short-term trades. The key is to stay invested and allow your wealth to grow over decades, benefiting from the compounding effect. But patience is not just about investing. It applies to all areas of life, whether it's saving consistently, living below your means, or making career choices that may not pay off immediately but will yield long-term benefits. Patience also means resisting the urge to compare yourself to others. In today's connected world, it's easy to feel left behind when you see others seemingly getting rich overnight. But wealth is often the result of slow, consistent effort over many years. It's important to focus on your own path and avoid the temptation to chase quick wins that can derail your long-term goals. Chapter 10. The Role of Optimism and Pessimism. Housel discusses the balance between optimism and pessimism, explaining that both perspectives have their place in financial decision-making. Optimism is essential because it helps you stay invested and believe in the future. Without optimism, people wouldn't take the risks necessary to invest or start businesses. However, blind optimism can be dangerous, leading to overconfidence and poor decisions. On the flip side, a healthy dose of pessimism helps you prepare for risks and setbacks. It encourages you to build a margin of safety, diversify your investments, and be cautious about taking on too much debt. The key is finding a balance between the two, being optimistic about the long-term potential of your financial future, but also realistic about the risks and challenges that lie ahead. Housel gives the example of the stock market, which, over the long term, tends to rise. This long-term optimism is why investors continue to put their money in the market, even during downturns. However, short-term pessimism helps investors navigate the inevitable market corrections and downturns that happen along the way. Chapter 11. The importance of flexibility. Flexibility is one of the most valuable qualities you can have when it comes to managing your finances. Housel argues that life is unpredictable, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances is crucial to long-term financial success. This flexibility applies to both your career and your financial plan. For example, the job market is constantly changing, and the career path you envision today may look very different in 10 years. Having the flexibility to pivot, learn new skills, or pursue different opportunities is essential for maintaining your financial stability. Similarly, financial plans should be adaptable. While it's important to have goals and a plan for achieving them, it's equally important to be able to adjust your strategy as circumstances change. Housel also highlights that flexibility gives you the freedom to make decisions that align with your values and priorities. If you have the financial flexibility to live below your means, save for emergencies, and avoid debt, you're in a much stronger position to make decisions that bring you happiness and fulfillment, rather than being forced into choices out of financial necessity. Chapter 12. Saving for the Sake of Saving. One of the most counterintuitive lessons in the book is the idea of saving money without necessarily having a specific goal in mind. Many people think of savings as something tied to a particular purpose, saving for a house, retirement, or a vacation. However, Housel suggests that it's valuable to save just for the sake of saving. This isn't about depriving yourself or hoarding money, but rather about building financial security and flexibility. Having savings gives you options. It allows you to take advantage of opportunities when they arise, whether that's investing in a new business, taking time off to pursue a passion, or simply weathering a financial emergency without stress. The peace of mind that comes from having money set aside is, in itself, a valuable asset. It frees you from the constant worry of living paycheck to paycheck and gives you the confidence to make decisions that align with your long-term goals. Housel argues that saving should be a habit, not a chore. By consistently setting aside a portion of your income, you create a financial buffer that can protect you from the inevitable ups and downs of life. Over time, this habit of saving can lead to significant wealth, even if you don't have a specific plan for every dollar you save. Chapter 13. The Influence of Social Comparison. In today's interconnected world, where social media highlights the best moments of everyone's lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. Housel explains that this social comparison can be particularly damaging when it comes to money. Seeing others with bigger houses, nicer cars, or more luxurious vacations can make you feel inadequate, even if you're financially secure by your own standards. The problem with social comparison is that it encourages people to spend money they don't have to keep up with others. This can lead to debt, financial stress, and poor decision-making. Housel argues that the key to avoiding this trap is to focus on your own financial goals and values rather than trying to live up to someone else's definition of success. He also points out that no matter how wealthy you are, there will always be someone with more. Chasing after material status is a never-ending cycle, and it's ultimately unsatisfying. True wealth, according to Housel, is about freedom, security, and the ability to live life on your own terms, not about impressing others. Chapter 14. The Power of Stories in Financial Decisions. Housel argues that the way we think about money is shaped by the stories we tell ourselves. These stories are influenced by our upbringing, experiences, and the financial narratives we hear from those around us. For example, someone who grew up during a time of economic hardship may be more risk-averse, while someone who grew up during a booming economy may be more willing to take financial risks. These personal stories shape our attitudes toward money, risk, and reward, often more than facts or financial principles. Housel explains that recognizing the influence of these stories can help us make more rational decisions. By understanding the biases and emotions that shape our financial choices, we can avoid the traps of fear, greed, and overconfidence. For instance, during stock market booms, people often tell themselves stories of easy money and quick gains, leading to speculative investments and risky behavior. Conversely, during downturns, fear-based stories can cause people to panic and sell off their investments at a loss. By being aware of these narratives, we can step back and make more informed, rational decisions based on long-term goals rather than short-term emotions. Chapter 15. Managing Financial Success and Happiness. At the heart of Hussel's philosophy is the idea that money should be a tool for happiness and well-being, not just an end in itself. He argues that financial success isn't about accumulating the most wealth, but about using money to improve your quality of life. This means finding a balance between saving and spending, taking calculated risks, and making decisions that align with your personal values. Housel points out that many people who achieve financial success fall into the trap of always wanting more. They chase after higher salaries, bigger investments, or more status symbols, only to find that these things don't bring lasting happiness. True happiness, he suggests, comes from financial security, freedom, and the ability to live life on your terms. The ultimate lesson of The Psychology of Money is that money isn't just about numbers, it's about how we think, feel, and behave. By mastering the psychology behind our financial decisions, we can achieve not just wealth, but a sense of peace and fulfillment in our financial lives.